back to Non-Professional Dating Advice with Kyle Brenchley. This is episode 7, and today I have probably the most special guest I have ever had on this show so far.
Doubtful, but thank
Doubtful?
you.
Oh, come on. Give yourself credit. Give yourself credit. So I am joined here by...
I'm Trieste.
Trieste. There you go. Trieste. How do we know each other?
You live in the apartment, like, downstairs from me, yeah?
Yeah.
I never actually got that confirmed, so I just have been kind of guessing.
You never got that confirmed? You thought I was just,
No.
like, some, like...
Yeah, some rando just
Like,
kind
like
of
where do you think I live? Like, you thought I just, like...
Well, I knew you lived in our
appeared.
complex, but I just didn't know that it was, like, the one right downstairs.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah.
Dang.
You just kind of started showing up one day, and I was like, he seems cool.
I seem cool.
Yeah.
Talk more about
Yeah.
that. Talk more.
Oh, well, you know, I just get good vibes from people, so there's that.
There you go. There you go. She's a good vibe reader. She knows how to read people. And that's actually pretty important in the whole idea of dating. And
That's a good segue.
and maybe we'll jump into that a little later. But first tell the listeners, what makes you tick? Like, who are you? They have no idea who you are.
This is true.
What do they need to know? What's the essentials?
So I'm 22, and I moved around a lot when I was a kid. My dad was in the Army, so I've met so many people, and my family settled in Spokane, Washington, about 2 years ago, and I never really got to live there, but it's a cool place. So just been hanging out in Utah since like 2018, pretty much. So it's just a vibe,
Yeah.
I guess. Utah's weird, but
we have talked about that in previous episodes, how
Yeah.
strange Utah really is. And I guess we can touch on that a little more later.
Kansas.
Kansas?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I'm actually 100% serious because I lived there from when I was 8 to when I was 16. And if
Uh-huh.
you think about it, those are pretty formative years.
Yeah.
Like, you grow up, you graduate elementary school, you're like middle school, beginning of high school. So like, I had a very established friend group and like interests, and I was a member of the marching band.
The
and it
marching
was so
band.
fun. Yeah.
What did you play in the marching band?
The trumpet.
The trumpet. That is so fitting for you. The
Is it really?
trumpeter.
All right.
What part of Kansas was it?
Manhattan, Kansas. It's
Manhattan.
about 2 hours west of Kansas City.
Yeah, that's where Kansas State University is in.
Mhm.
It's in Manhattan.
Yep.
Yeah,
Go Cats.
I mean, I'm an Oklahoma Sooners fan, so any
Ew.
other team in the Big 12, not a
Ew,
big
ew,
fan.
ew.
Ew. What do you have wrong?
I actually know nothing about football. I just stay true to my roots.
I mean, I like them more than their football team. I mean, I like
They
their
have a cool
their
logo, though.
basketball
K-State has a
team.
cool logo. It's like the Wildcat.
It's a cat. Yeah, it's a purple cat.
It's pretty cool.
I've
And
never
it's
seen a purple
really,
cat in
one
nature
of my
before.
favorite colors is purple. So
Okay, naturally.
I might be biased that way.
Yeah.
West of Manhattan is just corn and like wheat and soybeans.
Yeah.
Like, it's really pretty, the eastern side of Kansas, but the western side is
It's the Midwest.
It's Kansas.
It's Kansas,
It's like
yeah.
the stereotypical Wizard of Oz wheat. Corn
Do we
and-
know where Dorothy lived when she was in Kansas?
I
It
don't
doesn't
know.
specify.
It's like some random homestead. I
Yeah, it
think.
doesn't specify, but I'm sure it's out
Yeah.
there in western Kansas.
I know way too
somewhere
much
out
about
there.
Wizard of Oz.
Yeah,
There's
me
like
neither.
museums like randomly.
That movie's almost 100 years old now.
I know,
It came
it's
out in
crazy.
1939, so
Wow.
82 years ago. I don't know, my math's probably really off there. 83
I'm just
years
impressed
ago.
you know the year.
83 years ago, yeah. I don't know, I know
Oh.
random facts and different things like that, but enough of me going off about random things. We're here to pick your brain,
My brain.
because you have a magnificent brain,
Oh,
and
thank
you have
you.
ideas and thoughts that I have never had, and
Good to
so
know.
please be willing to share with the viewers and the listeners today. So, where do we begin? Well, let me ask you. What? Obviously, this is a dating podcast,
Right.
And I know you've listened to previous episodes.
Allegedly.
At least one. That's how we got you here on the show.
Yeah.
But what's your overall vibe of the dating scene here in Logan? Maybe let's start with that. Talk about the dating scene.
Okay.
Here. Your view on that.
In Logan, I feel like it's been pretty chill. I've only lived here for like 4 months.
Uh-huh.
Probably 6 months now. That's weird.
Time flies.
But Honestly, I tend to like to date my friends, and that hasn't gone too well for me in the past. So I'm trying dating apps, which is interesting. Trying to navigate that, but yeah, overall it's a pretty chill vibe, I guess. I used to live in Provo and it was a lot worse.
Oof.
So I definitely like it up here more.
Oh, that's funny because last episode, the guy who was on, Brett, he's from Provo, and we talked about the dating pro scene down there.
It's garbage town.
It has its perks, but
no, it
but the
doesn't.
dating scene is not one of them.
It does not have perks.
But you mentioned you mentioned dating apps. We'll talk about that. You mentioned chill vibe here in Logan, but I want to start with, you mentioned that you like date your friends.
Oh yeah.
Like you've done that before. And so does that mean like you were friends first and then you decided, hey, like maybe we should like take this to the next level, or what do you mean by that?
Yeah, usually it's me just being like, hey, you're a cool person, and then I like have feelings and it's really obnoxious, and I try not to, but it happens every time. And yeah, then I'll like make a move or whatever, and sometimes they're really chill about it, and then sometimes it ends the friendship. So
oh man,
yeah, it's rough, but I feel like it'll work eventually. It's kind of like a trial and error thing.
Yes,
we'll figure it out eventually.
I love that mindset. It'll work eventually.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it right now.
Yeah,
not my main thing, but
yeah. No, I've heard a lot of people talk about how, like, if you're friends first, it in a way it could make it easier because you already know them so much. Like, you know what they like, you know their personality, you've been around them, and vice versa, they know you. And so it kind of, in a way, takes a degree of, what would we say, awkwardness away? Because I don't know. Like, when you don't know someone super well.
The first date conversations suck. It's like, where are you from? Do you have any siblings? It's like, I would much rather get to know, like, a person for, like, who they are, not, like, random facts about them. And I feel like that's taken away, or, like, you get to do that when, like, you're friends with someone. Like, you just kind of learn those things initially, just along the way, and then you're like, oh, this is a cool person, maybe we can date.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they're like, yeah, cool, and then other times they're like, hell no.
Sometimes it doesn't quite pan out. That's just, I guess, the risk that you have to take.
Yeah, and, you know, taking the risk, it gets easier every time.
Yeah. Yeah, you get used to it, and you kind of know how to deal with it. And, well, I've mentioned this before. I actually mentioned it last episode with Brett. We were talking about, like, the whole idea of, like, first being friends as opposed to just going up and just like meeting people, and how it's so much easier the former. And like last episode I talked about my own personal experience, and it's just so much better. And like, honestly, if you're like friends with them first, or at least like hang around them or get to know them, then you might like sift some people out who you might not actually be interested in, and you don't have to go through the whole awkward first date or the dating process where it's weird, like, and then you never talk again. Wasting a couple hours,
and then it's like, maybe not.
You know? And so if you find like you don't vibe with them maybe in a romantic way, you can still stay friends without having to cut it off. You know what I mean?
Because like when you meet someone on a dating app, it's really weird. Like if you want to stay friends with them, but like you don't want to date them. Yeah. And then there's like, are they into you more than you're into them? Like, do they want to date? And then, like, do you not want to date? And it's just a whole thing. So, yeah, I'd much rather be friends with someone first and then start to date them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now that you mentioned dating apps and we were going to talk about that, that kind of takes away the whole, like, being friends first. You know what I mean? Because the whole premise of dating apps is that you haven't met this person before.
You'd think so.
Have you run into a lot of people that you've met before and you're like, oh?
Well, yes, but also, like, a lot of people, and I feel like this is more like a girl thing, because I'm matched with guys and girls, but, like, a lot of girls will just get on dating apps and be like, hey, I'm just looking for friends. And so it's kind of weird. Like, I feel like guys don't do that. Yeah. Guys have one thing on their mind, and it's usually not just being friends.
Yeah, no guy is like, hey, here for friends only.
Yeah, exactly. And but, like, some girls are just like, I don't want anything serious, I just want to make friends. And I'm like, so, like,
So why are you
So
on
make
the,
friends.
Yeah,
Like,
like go talk to your neighbors,
Yeah,
go talk to the girl
like,
in class.
talk
you know?
to your roommates. Like, talk to people in your classes. I don't know. It's just it just throws me off.
Yeah. I don't know. Dating apps. I've used them in the past. I haven't used them for a long time. But they're definitely, I think they've definitely changed the whole name of the game when it comes to dating, because in a way it connects, it potentially could connect you to more people that you wouldn't have necessarily met otherwise, and it can connect you with people, because I think every app has like a distance feature or like some like radius. So you can
be super specific.
Yeah, you
with,
can like
who you want to pop up.
Exactly. Yeah, you can match with people, in different states, heck, even different countries. Like like you can do whatever. And so in that way, it does provide theoretically more options, but at the same time, at least in my experience, and you can probably touch on this, a lot of the times you don't even like get to meet that person, or like it doesn't, like if you do meet them, like it just doesn't. There's a disconnect there.
And I feel like it also kind of like cheapens. And I don't. Okay, it can work for people. Like I've seen it work. It happens. Like some of my best friends like met their husbands or spouses on dating apps. But for me, I'm really shy, so it's really helpful to like help meet people and like spark that initial conversation. But where it's really hard is like getting to that place where you want to meet them, or like you can. So like I honestly say like I'd probably match with like, if I match with like 20 people, and I probably have conversations with about 10 of them, and then I'll meet like 2 of them. So like it's like
filters down.
It's really hard, and I don't know. Like I am really shy, and so like like when I can't like approach people in person. It's really hard for me to do that. But on dating apps, I feel like I can do that, so that's nice. But then it's just getting to the point where like you actually go on a date.
Yeah.
And then there's the, like, do I want to go on a second date? Because, like, sometimes first dates are really weird. And I don't know.
Yeah, and that goes back to, like, because with dating apps, like, sure, you can, like, when you match with them or connect, whatever the terminology is, you can like, chat with them for just, like, via text or whatever, or you can, like, exchange socials. But, like, until you actually meet and, like, really... like get that in person, because there's so much you get from like meeting
like
in
what
person.
their voice sounds like how they eat food,
like
things that are like you wouldn't say they're important like initially, but like when you get to like a restaurant and a guy or a girl like eats like really grossly, you're like, I don't think I can do this. Like
so now we're talking about red flags for Trieste here. So red flag
you gotta be able to eat in a clean way.
You gotta eat in a clean way.
You can't be like all over the place.
You can't be all over the place. You can't use your hands.
No, unless it's
gotta
like
use
tacos.
Your fork. Unless it's tacos,
or
fair
pizza.
Enough. Fair enough.
But even then, it's just
yeah. No, you make a very good point, because honestly, it's like you don't know what you're gonna get. Like you have the smallest idea. And then
you know what they look like.
Yeah,
but even then, sometimes you don't.
That's true. Like a lot of the times, the pictures aren't even close to what they look like in real life.
Yeah, or they'll be like old pictures, so they have like a different haircut, or like I don't know.
Have you ever been catfished before?
I have.
You have? Okay, tell us about the time you've been catfished.
It was last summer. I was living with my aunt in Bountiful, and I was just working. And
wait, you were living in Bountiful?
For like 3 months.
Dang. Anyways,
but yeah, so I matched with this guy. It was like the only way for me to meet anybody, because I was just working and hanging out with my family. So I matched with this guy. We started talking. He seemed really cool. Like his pictures, they solid like 6.5 out of 10. Okay. And I've always put more into someo's personality than their looks. Like I'd rather have like a good personality.
You're such a saint.
Thank you. That's my public service. But yeah, so we decided to meet up at Chick-fil-A, and we were just gonna like go on a drive.
Go on a drive.
And like get soda or something, Yeah. Cringe. But that's what dating is like in Utah. Anyway. Anyway, so yeah, I get to Chick-fil-A. I see him pull up, and I get a text from him. It's like, hey, I'm in this truck, and so I know it's him. He gets out of the truck, and I'm like, that is not who I matched with. He just looked really creepy. You know when you get like creepy vibes from people? I don't know if it was. I don't like trucks. Maybe that was it. But
red flag number 2.
No trucks. I don't like trucks. And he just looked nothing like his pictures. And yeah, so I didn't even get out of my car. I just drove off, and I told him my aunt fell sick, so I had to babysit my cousins.
Dang.
So yeah, I'm ruthless. I won't even go on a date.
cutthroat, man.
Don't catfish me. It won't work.
Yeah, holy cow. Well, I mean, this is not about me, but I've definitely had catfish experiences too, and it's just so...
Yeah, it's so awkward.
Yeah, you're just like, oh. Because I mean, you do feel like a level of, like you kind of feel bad because you're like...
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, I was expecting something else.
It makes you feel so shallow.
Yeah, yeah.
You're like, I really like how this person looks, and then when they get there, you're like, I don't like how this person looks.
Yeah,
But, like, that's such an important part of dating.
Yeah.
Like, you want that attraction.
No, it is. Like, it really is.
Yeah, but it just makes... Yeah. I just learned to be okay with it. I'm like, it's fine. If I'm not attracted to them, I'm not going to, like, pursue anything further.
Yeah, no, that's very fair.
So, yeah.
But very interesting how it just all works that way.
Yeah.
But, so, I guess going along, what... do you have, like, a dating app of choice or, like, ones that you use more than others?
Well, okay, I used Tinder for a while. Tinder's terrifying.
Dude.
Tinder is so scary.
People have a very negative connotation of Tinder. Like,
and
whenever people talk about it, they
thing,
seize up and they're like, ooh, Tinder.
And I think there's a really negative connotation with it just because of, like, it is, like, the hookup app.
Yeah.
But, like... I don't know. I've had some really good conversations on Twitter, or not Twitter, on Tinder, and
follow Trieste on Twitter. Her twiddle handers down below.
Twiddle hander.
I can't speak today.
But yeah, I don't know. Tinder is nice because you get like unlimited swipes. You can just like do whatever. Like it's very unrestricted. You can just you match with like anyone and everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like. Honestly, it's really fun to just, like, sit down with your friends and, like, make fun of the people that come up.
Yeah.
That sounds so mean.
Just do swipe parties? Have you ever done that? Where you just have, like, your friends swipe for you?
Yeah, so fun. And then, I don't know, Bumble's fun because the girls have to message first. So it's, like, it feels more safe.
Yeah.
And then my personal favorite is Hinge because the profiles I feel like are more, they're not, like, they're just this age, from this place, studying this. It's, like... They have, like, voice memos, so you can, like, hear their voice before you, like, go on a date. You can, like the random prompts or, like, what's your worst fear? Or, like, something you should know about me. Or, something, you know, it's just more comprehensive. It's not, like, just those first date questions that I hate so much.
Yeah. Hinge, the dating app designed to be deleted.
Yeah, exactly. And their ads are really funny.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, go them.
Yeah.
Also, I just like the way it looks. It's a nice app. It just looks nice.
Just the layout.
Yeah, it's a very
display.
aesthetically pleasing app. Easy to use. Yeah.
What do you find most people use here in the area?
Well, if you're LDS, you use Mutual.
Yeah.
Did that for a while. Didn't have any luck with that one. But I feel like most people use I feel like there's a lot of Bumble users.
Really?
Like I really do. Like I get more variety on Bumble than I do on the other ones.
Interesting.
Well, you know, other than Tinder, but everyone's on Tinder.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, the reason I asked that cuz I at least since I've been here at Utah State, I haven't used any apps, and so I was just curious cuz I feel like you said, I think a lot of people use the Mutual one cuz the Mutual is like the church version of Tinder, and then Tinder. I think Tinder's probably the most well known, or just maybe just the most popular. Yeah,
it's like the first dating app you start using.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I hate this, and you start finding other ones.
Yeah, and then I guess Bumble has their unique approach, and Hinge is kind of more like refined, like serious, like actually looking for a relationship as opposed to hookups or friends with benefits or some people just friends.
Just friends.
I still don't
weird.
I still don't buy that. I think they're just saying that so they don't sound like they're.
But like it makes them. It just how do you get swipes with that?
I know, it's like, oh cool, I want friends.
I mean, like who doesn't want friends? But also like, why are you on here if that's all you're wanting?
Yeah.
Like
seriously,
it's a little sus.
It's just like
little suspicious.
Little suspicious. Yeah. Well, is there, if you don't mind me asking, is like there anybody that you're currently have your eye on, or anybody here that has caught Trieste's attention?
I mean, obviously, like I'll see people on campus and be like, wow, but like, like you know, you got like your crushes in your classes and stuff, but there's not like any one specific person. I was so busy with work and my classes that I just really don't have time for anything serious right now. And that's kind of a bummer, but you gotta know your limits with stuff. So
you gotta balance.
Yeah. So like right now, I feel like that's not like what I need to be focusing on. I'd rather date like when I get out of school.
Yeah, that way you can focus on it. Well, I mean, busy woman, I appreciate you taking the time to be on this podcast. That must really mean
it's really just a distraction from the studying.
Okay,
there it is.
There it is. There's the truth right there. Truth comes out. She just needs to distract herself.
It's just a distraction.
Well, I mean, if I can provide a distraction, then my job here is complete.
Yeah.
But it's complete. But yeah, maybe let's finish with. Do you have another story that's just like either unique or just like traumatizing or like memorable, or maybe even just funny or something that you look back and you're just like, wow, that was cringe.
The most recent date I went on, I think I was telling you about this, and I think this is why you asked me to be on here, so I'll tell it because it's a funny story.
Yeah.
Is this what you're fishing for? Maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. It's a good story. So I matched with this girl on Bumble, and I was super excited for the date. Like, she was really cute. Like, we were vibing over, like, messaging and stuff, and I told her I'd pick her up and I'd make her dinner. We would just talk, just like a good time. Get to know each other.
Yeah.
Low pressure situation. Anyway, yeah. If you want a really good dish of spaghetti Alfredo, or like shrimp Alfredo,
Ooh.
I'm really good at making it.
Ooh.
I have some good wines that go with it. So, if you're interested,
hit her up.
Hit me up. Not me. Okay.
Shameless plug.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, so she came over. We were just talking, and it was so weird. I felt like I was on a date with myself. And, like, I feel like with queer dating, sometimes that happens because, like, sometimes you're into, like, the same music and you have, like, very similar experiences, like, coming out or, like, it's just weird. But, like, we had the exact same life experiences at the exact same times. So, like, we were both not members of the church anymore, but, like, we left at the same time. We went to BYU at the same time. We went on our missions at the same time. We moved up to Logan at the same time. Like to the month.
It was,
like, so weird. And I feel like it was a lot of, like, trauma bonding, which might not be healthy. Like, I'm realizing more and more that I don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want someone I could just relate to on, like, levels of difficult parts of my life. So, yeah, and it was just weird. And, like, I got some good music recommendations from her, but, like, that was really the only thing that I, like, wanted out of that date towards the end. Like, I was just so exhausted after that date. Like, it was just, it was so exhausting. I went home and I just, like, watched one of my favorite movies and just, like, made popcorn and, like, chilled out because I was so emotionally drained from, like, talking about that stuff for, like, 2.5 hours. So, yeah. Yeah, it was kind of wild. I was on a date with myself, and I like myself. Yeah. Just not that much. I don't want to date myself.
Yeah,
I feel like you need, like, that balance of, like,
you need, like, some
different interests or, like, different backgrounds, not, like, the same person.
Yeah.
And obviously there's things that make her different, but, like, it was that basic, just too much similar. Yeah. Well, I guess that debunks all narcissists out there who would want just to date themselves, because you lived that experience and you can say that it's not as great as one might think. It was just so weird. That's how I know I'm not a narcissist.
There you go.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Well, yeah, I think that's definitely super unique, because it is interesting, though. I'll end on this thought. You know how they say opposites attract? Mm-hmm. To a degree, that is true.
I think that's important for some things.
Yeah.
But then other things you need to have similar.
Yeah, exactly. To a degree, it is true. But obviously, the reason people get together or find companionship in another is because there are those maybe, like, core values or, like, base personalities.
Or, like, goals in life.
Yeah, like they're the same, or at least they're similar. And so, because you don't want someone who's like totally polar opposite. Like that's
Yeah, like if you want kids and someone else doesn't, like that's gonna be a game changer down
Oh, yeah.
the road. Like it
Big
might not
time.
matter like right in the moment,
Yeah.
but like you do have to think about like,
yeah,
is this person gonna like, is this gonna be a point of conflict at some point, and like how do we navigate that?
yeah. Seriously, it's uncharted waters sometimes,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just interesting to kind of piece that all together, and I guess going back full circle, I'm shoving this down your guys' throats. Like it works so much better if you're able to like be friends with them first, or at least like hang around them, or at least get to know some of those things,
Yeah.
so you can kind of sift through them and kind of get an idea of where you want to go. Because yeah, you do have to take a lot of those things in consideration, and it's not just like, oh, she's hot or he's hot.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I want to be with that person. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, there's just so much more to it.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I know you wanted to wrap this up.
No,
but
no, no,
There's
let's go.
this TV show
Yeah.
called Love is Blind.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Talk about that.
It's such a trashy reality TV show. Actually, it's less trashy than most I've watched. But the premise is like you meet this person behind a wall.
Yeah.
So like you only get to talk to them. Like you don't get to see them. You can kind of like you can ask them questions like, what is your hair color?
You can
or,
hear
like,
their voice.
Yeah, you can hear their voice. You
and
can
they
like
can describe.
if you want to, you can ask them like what they look like.
Yeah.
And then, but that's not the point. It's like
Yeah.
a social experiment. It's like, can you build a connection based only on who a person is, not what they look like?
Yeah.
And so they eventually get engaged if they want to before seeing each other. And honestly, I think it's a great idea. Like, I would 100% sign up for this.
Sign me up.
Like, if it wasn't, like, reality TV and, like, some of it was scripted,
Yeah.
I probably would, like, 100%,
Yeah.
like, be a part of this experiment. Because, like, I do really value people's personalities and cores. But yeah, like, that whole show, it's just really cool. Because, like, once they meet each other, sometimes it's like, oh, I'm not attracted to them. But, like, emotionally, we're very connected. But, like, physically, I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting to, like, watch them, like, decide if that's more important than the emotions that they've built with each other
Yeah.
and, like, the connection they have. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just really interesting.
Yeah.
It's, like, very on the nose. So if you're looking for good TV, there's 2 seasons out.
Love is Blind. Is it on Netflix?
Yeah, it's
or-
on Netflix.
On Netflix.
Shameless plug for, like, my favorite
Yeah.
TV show right now.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
There you go. She
It's a
put
great
in a
show.
bunch of shameless plugs, so it's like if you want to impress her,
If
then
you want to date me.
yeah,
if
then,
you
then
wanna-
watch that show. Like, avoid those red flags she mentioned
Yeah.
earlier, and do all that stuff. But yeah, very interesting because it does take. There's the emotional side, and then there's the physical side, and I do believe in a degree. I guess you could have one without the other, but it's just so much easier if you have
Yeah.
both.
Well, it's also, like, what you value. Like, some people don't want that
Yeah.
physical relationship, and
That's true.
some people that's really important to them. So it depends on the person.
Yeah, whatever your flavor of cupcake, as my roommate
Yeah.
always says, it's
Or
just
maybe
up
you
to
like
you.
cookies.
Maybe you like cookies.
Or maybe you don't even like
maybe
cookies
you don't
and like
even,
sweets.
Yeah,
and,
maybe you don't like sweets. Maybe you're
Yeah.
crazy and
Maybe you
only
like
eat
vegetables.
like beets. Maybe you only eat Borg or borscht or
What is
whatever
that?
that Russian food was. I'll tell you later. It's like this really gross Russian
Ew.
food. No offense, Russia, but yeah. But yeah, so there you go. That's wow. That's you in a nutshell, and we just picked your brain for 30
Yeah.
minutes, and
Yeah.
and we could do this all day, and I will probably continue to do it just because I'm always looking for new approaches and new ideas.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for joining the podcast
Yeah.
today.
Thank you for having me.
We love having you on
Great
here.
first experience.
It was awesome. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, for listening and or viewing to Non-Professional Dating Advice. This was episode 7 with Kyle Brenchley, and we will catch you guys later.